This time, Ryan raised his hand at Ada. He bought her a brand new iPhone the next morning. She stared at the phone for a long time. That was the day Ada learned something important. Some people do not say sorry. They just buy you things and smile. Everyone who saw their life from the outside thought Ada was the luckiest woman alive. Ryan was handsome. He said sweet things. He posted beautiful pictures of them online. People would comment, relationship goals, and God when. But nobody knew that Ada cried in the bedroom every night with the shower running so that nobody could hear her. This is her story. Ada met Ryan at a business seminar on a bright Saturday morning. He walked in wearing a clean white shirt and he smiled at her like he had been looking for her his whole life. He was different from every man she had ever met. And on the first day, he pulled out her chair. He laughed at her jokes. He listened when she talked. And when the seminar ended, he said, "I don't want this day to end." And Ada said she did not want it to end either. He called her that same evening, and the next morning, and the one after that. Within 2 weeks, he was calling her his future wife. She laughed the first time he said it, but deep inside, something in her chest felt warm. He sent flowers to her office. He drove 30 minutes just to bring food for her when she said she was tired. He told her every day that she was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. She felt chosen and safe. They got engaged after 6 months. Her friends danced, her mother cried, happy tears. Ryan stood at the altar and said, "I will spend the rest of my life making you smile." And Ada believed every word. But small things started happening. Things she told herself did not matter. And when she did not pick up call quickly, he would go quiet and cold. And she would rush to explain herself, feeling guilty for something she did not even do wrong. He did not like her male friends and stopped her from talking to any man. And he would always say to her, "I just love you too much. I don't want anyone to take you from me." It sounded like love for the first time, so she let it go. He started making small comments about her clothes, about her family, about her friends. "Your friend Clara, she doesn't like you. She doesn't really like you, and I can see it." At first, Ada did not believe him, but he kept saying it until she started looking at Clara differently. Every time something felt wrong, he would do something so sweet that she forgot to be upset. A surprise dinner, a long drive, breakfast in bed, holding her hand and saying, "You know I will never hurt you, right?" And she always believed him. Marriage changed everything. The sweet calls stopped, the flowers stopped coming, he stopped listening to her, and instead he started criticizing her. Anytime she cooked, he would say, "This food is too salty." He would always complain that the house was never clean enough, that she talked too much in public, that her voice was disrespectful, and she never did anything right. When she tried to speak about it, he would look at her calmly and say, "That never happened. You are imagining things." Or he would say, "You are too emotional. You need help." She started to wonder if he was right. Maybe she was too sensitive. Maybe she counted things a lot. Maybe she remembered things wrong. She began to doubt her own mind. On their wedding night, the very first night of their marriage, he told her he wanted pounded yam and egusi soup, that he doesn't want the food from the wedding. And she was tired and confused and begged him, and he said no. She stood up, still in her wedding dress, and went to the kitchen. He sat and waited, and when she finished cooking and served him, he didn't even say thank you. That was the first sign she missed. He began to cut her off from everyone slowly. First, it was her friend Clara. He told her, "Clara is too toxic. She doesn't want good things for you." Then about her sister, he badmouthed her and then told her not to call her mother. And he would say, "Your family is always trying to put problems between us." And one by one, the people who loved her disappeared from her life until it was just her and Ryan. Online, he was the perfect husband. He posted photos of them with long captions about love and God's blessing. People tagged their partners in his posts. He gave testimonies in church. Everyone loved him. But behind closed doors, she was walking on eggshells every hour of the day. Then one night, they had a big argument. Ada was crying and she said things she felt in her heart. A month later, she found out he had been recording her. He had videos of her worst moments saved on his phone. When she asked him why, he smiled and said, "Just in case you try to leave me and say I am the bad one, I will show them this video." She sat with that truth for a long time. This was not a man who loved her. This was a man who wanted to own her. Then, a letter arrived on Tuesday, a business opportunity in another city, the kind of chance Ada had worked toward for years before Ryan came along and told her to slow down, told her to focus on the home, to stop chasing things that didn't matter. But this mattered, and it mattered to Ada. She told him, and his face became cold. "You think you are special without me?" he said quietly. "You think you can just go?" The argument that followed was the worst of their marriage. At the end of it, he took her laptop, he threw her documents, he looked at her and said she was nothing without him. And something in her that had been sleeping for a very long time woke up, and she said she was done. She called Clara that night. Clara picked up on the first string. She didn't say, "I told you so." She just said, "Tell me where to start." They made a quiet plan. Ada gathered what she needed. She gathered the documents, a little money she had saved in secret, the things that belonged to her. Clara found her a new place to stay. They moved slowly and carefully because Ada knew Ryan would notice if anything felt different. And he finally noticed. He became sweet again. He started buying her flowers. He started crying and started praying. "I am changing, Ada. Give me one more chance. God is working on me." She had heard these words before. She knew now what they meant. He could feel the control slipping and he was reaching out to take it back. But she was not the same woman anymore. The day Ryan traveled for work after begging Ada not to leave because he felt he was no longer under control, she packed one bag, she walked to the door, and she left 3 things on the table: her wedding ring, a card for a therapy office, and a small note that said, "You did not destroy me, you only delayed me." Then she walked out. The months passed and slowly the truth about Ryan began to come out. Former workers, former partners, women who had known him before Ada, one by one they spoke. He was not who he said he was. He had never been. And Ada went to therapy. She cried in rooms where the crying was allowed. She called her mother and listened to her voice for an hour without saying anything. She laughed well with Clara again. Not the kind of laugh you do to keep peace. Not the kind of laugh you do to get somebody annoyed. She started helping other women. women who were where she had been, women who were crying in bedrooms with the showers running, and she told them what she now knew. The most frightening thing about a person like Ryan is not how loudly they hurt you. It is how loud they convince you that the pain is your fault. You are not so emotional. You are not imagining things. And you are not alone. So stand up for yourself and don't let any man drain you or delay you. And if you love this story, like, comment and subscribe for more. See you in the next video.